The Kaiser! For the fatherland! For the Kaiser! For the fatherland! For the Kaiser! For the fatherland! For the Kaiser!
Vive la France! Vive! Vive la France! Vive! Vive la France! Vive!
As we go, stay behind me. Stay with me.
Attack! Attack! What are you doing? Pick up your rifle! Pick it up or I'll shoot you! Pick up your rifle!
We're still in the same position. After 3 years and almost 2 million dead. Trapped by a war that's being fought on 2 fronts. Our soldiers paralyzed in the trenches.
Gentlemen, at this morning's meeting, General Ludendorff made it perfectly clear that we have to shut down the Russian front as quickly as possible in order to transfer 80 of our divisions to the Western Front so that we can beat the British and French forces before, and I stress this, before the United States comes into the war against us, flooding Europe with her troops. In other words, the Russian question must be settled peacefully at once.
I wouldn't lose any sleep over the capability of the American fighting man.
That's a matter of opinion. We haven't finished discussing the Russians. The Tsar has been deposed, but the provisional government is keeping the country at war.
Von Bergen, your ministry, which is called the Ministry of Subversion, hasn't had much success to date. You say you now have a decisive plan to get Russia out of the war. Well, let's have it.
I think it best if the man whose idea this is, a certain Dr. Helfand, explains it to you himself.
Helfand? The man known as Parvus?
Exactly.
He is a subversive Russian Jew who fled here for protection and made a success as a businessman involved in nefarious deals with foreign powers. Advisor to the Turkish government. He attempted to lead an insurrection in the Ukraine, which failed. He even had a plan to stir up a rebellion against the British in India. One fiasco after another. But he managed to make money out of it all.
Dr. Helfand.
Morning, gentlemen.
Sit down, Dr. Helfand.
May I smoke too?
Explain your plan to us.
The present provisional government in Russia has no intention of making peace. But the leader of the extreme wing of the Russian revolutionaries is in exile in Switzerland. We must give him safe conduct through German territory to Petrograd in a train. Once he's there, he will lead the revolution, and once he's established a position of power, he'll sign an armistice with Germany. At least, that's what I myself feel. Perhaps I should express my views with more caution and say that he will attempt a revolution and try to seize power, etc., etc.
Are you talking about the head of the Bolsheviks?
Vladimir Ilyich Ulyanov.
Known as Lenin, yes. He was at my side throughout the abortive uprisings of other times.
Youth. What you're saying is that this man will succeed now where he failed in other times?
The time is right now.
It's not by any chance your obvious admiration for this Lenin that makes you so sure.
My trust in him is quite rational. I know him well.
How much money do you expect to make this time?
I'm already a rich man, sir. Everyone knows that.
Then what are you doing this for?
I want my country to win the war.
Dr. Helfand is a German citizen.
Since when?
3 weeks.
Well, gentlemen, you have a lot to do. I think you should consider my proposal seriously. Our minister knows the details and where to find me. Thank you for your time, gentlemen. Mr. Minister. They must accept that we will lose the war. But how do you depend upon the intelligence of men?
I have here the up-to-date balance sheets from the Stockholm Bank.
You know, Fürstenberg, this is the most important country in the world. Everything is decided here, in Germany.
Not in Russia?
This revolution of peasants that Lenin is starting is merely incidental. It's here in Germany, among the working class, the world revolution will begin. I'm not saying that what Lenin is doing is not important, but I'm going to have to guide him very carefully in order to lay the groundwork to the big move, mine.
But the man has a record of defeat behind him.
He hasn't had a chance to prove himself yet. But once he's on the home ground, he'll move very swiftly. I'll see to that. At the moment, he's whiling away his time in Switzerland, blissfully unaware of the fact that I shall come knocking on his door and make him a present of his new destiny. What's so amusing?
The fact of you knocking on his door. It reminds me of something Lenin once said about you.
What was that?
He called you the delivery boy of the revolution.
Lenin said that.
They say. That's what he said.
It is not true. Have you repeated this invention to anyone else?
No.
We're in business. Go. Have you any idea what this operation's going to cost?
Not less than 50 million gold marks, that's for sure.
With Germany starving, that might be too much for the government to afford.
Too much to win?
Will you be handling the money?
Yes, that's my condition. Lenin understands nothing about finance.
Tomorrow morning in my office we'll study the plan, when payments have to be made and so on. You go and speak to your man Lenin at once. Do you foresee any problems?
No, certainly not. Lenin's been waiting for this moment all his life.
The sooner this train sets off, the better.
Who's going to be arranging the escort they'll need?
Major von Planitz.
Oh, a hero. Splendid.
I congratulate you, Captain, on the success of your attack. Did you lose many men?
40%, sir, but we are 300 yards closer to Paris.
We've had orders to abandon the trench you took so gallantly and withdraw to our previous position. The French are about to launch a counterattack with tanks, and we'll never withstand it from there.
Are you telling me it was all for nothing?
Of course not, Captain. You took 80 prisoners.
Yes, sir.
Raise arms! Ready, aim, fire! Shoulder, arms! Left, charge! Forward, march! Left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right.
This was found on the boy. Recognize it? Subversive propaganda, calculated to cause dissatisfaction among the troops and encourage disobedience. It's an insult to the concept of patriotism. You knew nothing about it?
No, sir. Not a thing.
How was such a dangerous pamphlet able to circulate in your company without your knowledge? Don't you keep a check on the morale of your men, Captain? What they read? You know what this is, don't you? It's a copy of the so-called Quintal Manifesto, a socialist denunciation of war, pacifist poison. Fear takes hold of a soldier when his principles are removed, when he loses respect for the true values that guide us. Doubt. That's what kindles fear. An urgent directive arrived this morning, some hours ago, from Supreme Headquarters. You are to be relieved of your command and report to Major von Planitz. You go directly to Ardennes. If I'm not mistaken, he's your previous commander.
I'm to abandon my men in the middle of a battle. Why?
Orders. Don't ask me. You have to write a letter to the parents of that boy, telling them he was killed heroically in action. Good luck, von Buring.
You heard the news? The Americans declared war on us today.
Why do we have to take a Russian revolutionary from Switzerland and deliver him in Scandinavia like a posted parcel?
Because he is our secret weapon. If chaos is created in Russia, they'll be forced out of the war.
Who is this revolutionary wonder?
They call him Lenin.
Who did you say?
Lenin.
I know that name. There you are. He's one of the people that signed this despicable piece of pacifist propaganda.
What else would you expect of him? That's his job, isn't it? I must confess I'm looking forward to meeting this wizard. The dreaded Lenin, who they say is going to enable us to win the war.
Where is he hiding?
In Zurich.
Dr. Helfand, the gentleman you were waiting for has just arrived.
Where is he?
Upstairs.
Is he in a private room?
Yes, sir.
It's him. So, excuse me, gentlemen.
Bring him here so that we can meet him.
Well, he's only expecting to see me. He's rather temperamental, I'm afraid, rather unpredictable. I think it would be better if you just left it to me. Ah, no smoking.
Ah, Dr. Helfand. Are you putting on weight?
I wasn't expecting a clown.
Well, Lenin decided it would be unwise to be seen in the company of a cigar-smoking capitalist of German nationality, so he sends his excuses. I'm sure you understand.
If I hadn't become a German citizen, I would have none of the influence which I possess today. Lenin knows that it's my talent for timing which will enable me to offer him success on a golden platter.
Lenin knows how much he owes you.
So I have to talk to you. Well, this journey's only the first step. I plan many more for him.
Well, obviously you'll have many things that you have to do with him, but discreetly, of course, huh?
What kind of a Jew are you, Radek?
I could ask you the same thing, huh?
You belong to that class of untrustworthy, badly dressed, unwashed, stinking people, which I can't stand.
Then you must belong to another kind, People like you who profit from the misfortunes of others. Just take a look at yourself, the living justification for anti-Semitism.
At least you have a ready retort. I like that. Maybe I can use you, which is more than could be said for most of Lenin's sycophants. Zinoviev, for example. Man's an absolute non-entity, wouldn't you agree? I hear Inessa Armand has reappeared on the scene. The great man's inspiration. Well, as long as there aren't any complications, Do you think there might be?
Let's not get sidetracked, huh? How much cash have the Germans promised us?
The Kaiser's finance minister still hasn't recovered from the shock of being told the sum.
Which is?
Enough. It'll be in the papers.
How are you having it paid?
Well, through my agency in Copenhagen or Stockholm or wherever's most convenient.
Do we get the whole amount, or?
Radek, you're obviously unfamiliar with the workings of finance. Shall we go? You'll receive slices of the cake at regular intervals, but I should like to see Lenin as soon as possible to find out how this money's going to be spent.
I'll be in touch. Oh.
Is Lenin as avid as ever about reading newspapers?
Yes, he is. You see, we have trouble getting these German newspapers in Switzerland.
Are you Mr. Ulyanov?
No. This is Mr. Radek, one of the men closest to Lenin.
Why didn't Mr. Ulyanov, Lenin, come himself?
Comrade Lenin will not enter German territory unless he is protected by extraterritorial immunity.
This will be resolved as soon as possible. There are political reasons. The preparations are rather complex, but rest assured, Lenin will be there. I'll just see Mr. Radek to the door.
What do you suppose he means by political reasons?
The first payments have arrived. Half to Stockholm and half to Copenhagen. And I think the...
Dr. Helfand. Who does this Lenin think he is? At least he could show himself at the window and greet his German comrades.
He's obeying my instructions. We don't want to sound a lot of fanfares about this train and give the advantage to our political enemies.
Do you think they could arrest him when he gets to Petrograd?
I don't know.
Shoot him, maybe?
I don't know what that amateur Kerensky and his gang are up to.
And if they did, what would you do?
I should try again. With someone else. Trotsky, perhaps.
Ah, you could try immediately. Trotsky's coming back from America, so there would be no problems with German trains or matters of treason.
But Lenin is Lenin.
Will he be willing to take orders?
Well, the man's no fool. He knows it was I who put him on that train, and that I can take him off it again whenever I choose, because of certain factors. How would you describe them?
Decisive.
The financial side, you understand.
Oh.
Anyway, why should he disobey me? I'm giving him his beloved Russia and his moujiks. But, dear comrades, as soon as the revolution spreads to Germany, then the time will have come for us to travel. A great deal.